Fred, and we were over here at our shooting range, and we've been shooting a couple of guns with the Sars system on it. We shot a 338 normal, actually improved, a couple of 308s, and gonna shoot a 300 Win Mag here in a minute. And I'm sitting here with Jimbo Speaks, and about a year ago, Jimbo come to me, had this idea about tying the scope down to the gun better, just securing the scope to it. So what we come up with a recoil lug and a scope-based system that ties everything together a lot stronger. So you have no more scope movement. I know shooting F-class, we shoot long strings of 20, and you were always checking your scope mount to be sure everything was tightened down. And also you got to remember, we're shooting heavier, bigger scopes mounted up higher on the gun than we ever have in the history of shooting. A lot of them are heavier recoiling guns, the 338s, the 300 Win Mags with lighter barrels. And we were finding that the scopes were moving a lot linear, in a linear direction on top of the action, because you've got 4 small screws holding that scope base on the action. Now, a lot of improvements has been made in the scope rings. Scope rings have been made heavier, and other parts have been made heavier to help with that problem. But nothing has really been done about the scope base. So what me and Jimbo had talked about, and this is the scope base that we are making. It's called a Sars, Speaks Advantage Rail System. And this is what the base that we make look like. And this is our recoil lug. Recoil lug, we're making like a standard recoil lug and just machining a tab on the top of it. That tab mates in a pocket in the bottom of our rail, and it just ties everything together. So no longer do you have 4 648 screws holding the base on. You've got 4 648 screws plus a 1/4 inch recoil lug. One other thing that this system does, it makes your Remington a switch barrel rifle. You can pop a barrel off, put another one on, and the rail actually holds the lug in place. That was one thing we hadn't planned on, but that is, I mean, it works very good for that. On my Remington 40X that I have here today, I've got about 10 barrels. I swap them back and forth all the time.
We're looking at the Sars system. I guess I kind of came into this, and I guess really first off, how I guess had the idea was through a problem, and shooting a lot of the Magnum cartridges for hunting in particular, you would experience problems over time with the base rings coming loose on your scope base, causing all kind of accuracy issues. And myself as a hunter, once you invest all the time and money it takes to go, let's just say on an elk hunt out west, and you invest all that and then get out there and find out your base is loose when you're miles back in the backcountry after an elk, is a bad time to discover you have a problem. So like I said, through many years of shooting rail systems that have come loose due to only 4 screws holding the base on, your typical, say, Remington 700 action, Alton and I came up with the idea of making it a much more robust system by adding a post, if you will, that fits into the bottom of your actual recoil lug, and it takes all the sheer force that rifle delivers during firing with a scope like a Schmidt and Bender or Night Force that's going to be in the 35 to 38 ounce range. This is a much more robust system than just relying on the 4 6x48 screws that typically hold that base on it.
So there was a lot of thought, believe it or not, that went into designing and building these scope rails and these lugs. Right now we're building them for a 1/4 inch, but we can build them 3/16, 5/16, any size that we want to do. We even designed our own screw that's made in the USA to hold this base on. It's a stronger screw than you normally get for scope bases. All right, one other design feature that we put in this rail, a lot of rails will high center just on the screws. I made the radius a little bit different so the edges actually touch, and you got 3 points of contact on the rail as it's going on the gun. All our parts is made in the USA and always will be made in the USA, which is something I know me and Jimbo and everybody else here, that's what you want to hear. Just parts that we make here, not that we order from China or Taiwan or somewhere else. We want good USA made parts. Most of our shooters are here in the USA. So, you know, we want to provide them with a good part. This is a really, really good part. It does what it's supposed to do. Right now, we're making them out of 70-75 aircraft grade aluminum and having them hard anodized. We're going to make them out of 60-61, have them hard anodized. We've also had a lot of guys ask about steel rails. We're going to make them out of steel. We're going to make them out of titanium. Whatever anybody may want in a steel, in a rail, material-wise, we will make it out of that material.
Just no chance for slippage. I think is where the accuracy really comes in.
Absolutely no chance for slippage at all. As a matter of fact, we had a CAD guy do some of the moments, and these don't equate to pounds or anything else, but it was like a number of 8 that it took to shear the 4 screws off. All right, when you put your 4 screws in and the accuracy rail, it was a number like 120,000 that it took to shear all of that off to failure. Now I know we'll never get that with a scope, but it gives you the peace of mind that when you grab your gun from that hunting camp, or you grab your gun out of that car, or you show up at an F-class match or a PRS match and have to use your gun, that scope, it's on. If it was on the day before, it's going to be on that day too. Our recoil lugs are made out of stainless steel, so you don't have to worry about rust, but we can coat them if you want them coated. Also on the recoil lug, I actually machine a bevel in front, so if your gun's bedded, when you take the action out of the stock and put it back in, that bevel will push everything to the rear, which is where you want it on a Remington or a Savage. You want everything pushed to the rear. Then just tighten your receiver screws down and you're ready to go. All right, the reason that we come up with the Sars system is to keep the scope from moving linear on the gun when it's under recoil or standing in a car. So today while we were shooting, did you have any shift of impact while you were shooting with the Sars system on your rifle?
No, not at all.
And you were shooting a 308 today. We shot at 100 yards, 400, 600, and 800. And you were making good hits all the way out.
Oh yeah, yeah. My rifle was very consistent, okay, all the way through.
You can definitely tell a difference with the Sars system from the rifles that did not have the Sars system on it. When we was trying to get the 100-yard zero, they got the 100-yard zero a lot quicker, and they held a lot sooner, and the guys had to do a lot less work on the scopes trying to hold the zero and all the way out to 800 yards. You could definitely tell that once the guys got zeroed at 100, they was able to run all the way out to 800 and didn't have any problem with any movement.
The biggest key factor, as far as I'm concerned, being in law enforcement, a lot of times we only get one shot, one chance. But I've noticed since I got the Sars system installed on my rifle, that my cold bore shots have become tighter, have become more accurate, become more consistent.
I didn't shoot this rifle prior to the Sars system being implemented, but I can't speak on the importance of a scope not moving. I shot in a competition about a month ago or so. It was a gas gun, so not really the same setup, but my scope mount came loose, and it took me about 5 iterations to figure that out while I was having such a bad day. So a loose scope can ruin absolutely everything.
All right, accuracyassured.com is our website. Just go to the website. It's kind of a basic website right now, but we are working on that to get it up and going and get more information on it. Saddle up, boys. Get you a Sars Accuracy Assured rail, and let's go shoot some groups.